Hello Year 9 students, this is Mr. Shaban. Today we're going to discuss the first unit of Year 9 syllabus. In this unit we're going to take the following topics. The first one is photosynthesis, the second one is mineral salts for plants, then plants and water, then flowers, then pollination and fertilization, followed by fruits. The first lesson of this unit is photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is the way that plants make its own food. Basically, it's a chemical reaction. Before we start discussing the photosynthesis, at the beginning I want you to recap what is a plant cell. Plant cell is the simple unit of the plant where the plant uses to build up its own body. The plant cell consists of the outer layer, the cell wall, followed by cell membrane, and then we have a jelly-like structure called cytoplasm. Inside the cell we have the nucleus, which controls the reactions takes place inside the cell, and we have one of the most important things for the plant cell, which is the chloroplast. Chloroplast is the organelle which is designed to capture or absorb the sunlight. This has a very important role for photosynthesis, so please keep it in mind. And at the end we have the vacuole. Vacuole is like a storage place for the cell sap inside the cell. So, going back to the photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is a chemical reaction which is driven by the solar energy. Basically, the plant absorbs all the sunlight by the help of the chloroplast and take in the carbon dioxide from the air along with the water from the roots to start its chemical reaction. This process is going to change the simple chemicals like carbon dioxide and water into a complex chemicals like glucose and oxygen. Glucose is what the plant is using for energy. So glucose is the source of energy for the plant along with animals. And oxygen is what humans are using in respiration along with other animals and plants as well. In this chemical reaction we have something called reactant and we have something called products. So the carbon dioxide and water, both of them are considered to be the reactant of the chemical reaction, and glucose and oxygen are the products of the chemical reactions. So you might have any of the questions asking you to highlight the reactant or the product of the photosynthesis, so you need to memorize this equation carefully and don't mix up between the reactant and the products. Second part of this lesson, we're going to talk about how the plant is going to use the glucose. See, we have one of two options. When the plant makes the food, it either eats or take part of the food for energy and to grow and to get bigger. So it's going to consume part of the glucose in order to survive and to get bigger and to stay alive. The other part is going to be stored. In order to store the food or the glucose inside the plant needs to keep the food in an insoluble form. I want you to look at this picture. Glucose, as you can see, is a simple molecule and it's soluble in water. As it's soluble in water, it means that the plant cannot keep it in its place and it can't be moving outside easily. In order to keep it stored inside the plant had to change the glucose from a simple molecule into a complex molecule called starch. As you can see, starch is a complex form of glucose and basically it's an insoluble form for the food or the glucose. So the plant uses this insoluble form, the starch, in order to store the food inside its body. So the plant cannot keep the food stored as glucose because it's soluble, and it needs to change it into insoluble form, which is called starch. Keep it in mind. In order to make sure that this process takes place inside the plant, and in order to make sure that the plant storing food inside its body as starch, we might make a certain experiment to just double check how correct these informations are. So we're starting this process by testing the starch inside the leaf. We're going to use for this experiment iodine solution, we're going to use beaker, we're going to use tripod, we're going to use alcohol, we're going to use water and source of heat energy, which is Bunsen burner. What we're going to do is we're going to get the leaf and boil it in a hot water, and then we're going to take it. The reason why we boil the leaf in a hot water is just to loose the cell wall because it's so rigid. We want to make it loose, and then we're going to put it in alcohol and then we'll place the tube with the leaf and alcohol inside a water bath, hot water bath, and this is going to extract all the colorful green color outside the leaf, which is the chlorophyll. After that, after the plant is losing the chlorophyll, we're going to take the leaf out and we're going to put it on a white tile, and then we're going to add iodine. The iodine acts as an indicator. It's going to indicate the presence of starch in the leaf. So if we have no change in color of the iodine, if the color of the iodine remains the same, which is orange, dark orange, then we're going to indicate that we have no starch. But if the color change into darker blue, blue-black, then this is a good indicator that we have starch found in the leaf. So based on the experiments that we have, as you can see in the picture, when we have no starch, we're going to have the same color of the iodine, and when we have a darker color, or the iodine change into a darker color, this indicates the presence of starch inside the leaf, and this indicates that the leaf has done a photosynthesis and has changed the glucose into starch to store it inside the leaf.
We need a leaf, boiling water, alcohol, iodine solution, test tube, spirit lamp. Take a leaf from a plant that has been exposed to sunlight for several hours. Place the leaf in boiling water. This will kill the leaf, disrupt the cell membrane, and soften the cell walls, allowing the iodine to enter the cells and react. Now put the leaf in a test tube and cover it with alcohol. Keep the test tube in the boiling water. The chlorophyll slowly dissolves into the alcohol. Note that alcohol turns green. Removal of chlorophyll will help us observe the color change of iodine clearly. Place the bleached leaf in a petri dish. Pour iodine solution over it. Note the color of the leaf. It changes to dark green. This is because iodine combines with starch present in the leaf and forms a violet-colored complex. This shows that starch is present in leaves.
Second lesson is called mineral salts for plants. Before we start with this lesson, I want to ask you a question. How many of you had like a lack of vitamin D, or lack of vitamin C, or lack of iron, or lack of a certain mineral? You know, these are elements which is found in trace amounts, like very small, tiny amounts inside our body. Although they are found in small amounts inside our body, but they are very important for our health. Same as the plant. The plant are using the minerals in a very small amount in order to stay healthy. So these minerals are found inside the soil naturally, or can be found in something called fertilizer, which is man-made. What are fertilizers? Fertilizers are minerals that provide salts to the plant in order to make the plant grow larger and healthier. We're going to discuss two different examples for the minerals. The first one is called nitrate. Nitrate helps the plant make the protein, is also needed to make the chlorophyll, which is the green color that captures the sunlight to make the photosynthesis, and the shortage in nitrate is going to make the plant small and yellow. On the other hand, we have another mineral called magnesium. Magnesium is needed to make the chlorophyll, which is the green color, and the shortage in the leaf is going to make the leaf look yellow. Third lesson of this unit is talking about the importance of water for the plant. We have four major functions for the water inside the plant. The first one is for support the plant. Second one for transport. Third one for cooling. Fourth one for photosynthesis. Let's discuss one by one. At the beginning, water for support. The plant cell contain a lot of water, especially inside their vacuoles. So a plant cell that has plenty of water is going to be strong and firm, because most of the cell is made up of the water, so the water is going to fill the inside of the cell. Without the water, the plant will be soft and floppy. In other words, we can call it wilted. The plant will be wilted because nothing inside the cell to fill it up, so it's going to get smaller and to get soft and floppy. That's water for support. On the other hand, we have another function for the water inside the plant, which is transport. Plant contain long tubes within the stem, leaf and roots. These long tubes are made to transport the water from one part into another. Water is used to carry the minerals along the plant. So the water is used to carry the minerals that the plant has taken from the roots up to the stem, then to the leaf, so the plant will get the important minerals like nitrate and magnesium to make the chlorophyll. So it's going to absorb more sunlight and it's going to make the photosynthesis. So water plays an important role in transporting the minerals across the plant. On the other hand, water plays an important role for cooling. Before we talk about the plant, I want you to remember this fact. I want you to remember a hot day where we were playing outside in the field, and then the temperature was very high and you're drinking water. Within that time, you're going to notice that you're losing a lot of water as sweat, and this is made to cool your body down, to keep the body temperature within 37 degrees Celsius. Because if you're outside without this cooling technique, you're going to have a very high temperature, which is going to damage your body, and you're going more likely to die, because our functions or the organ systems work optimum within a temperature of 37 degrees Celsius. Same example for the plant. In a very hot days, the plant is going to make an important role for cooling. When the water in the xylem gets into the leaf, it's spread out through each leaf. Some of it evaporates in order to cool the leaf down or to cool the plant down, to keep its temperature low on a sunny day. As you know, water is used for photosynthesis, and it's one of the reactants for this important reaction. We have taken earlier that carbon dioxide plus water is going to change into glucose plus oxygen. So water have a very important role for photosynthesis. Fun fact that the water which is used for the photosynthesis is the smallest amount of water used in the plant, and the majority goes for cooling and transport. Okay, last part of today's lesson is talking about flowers, which is 1.4. In this lesson, we're going to talk about the importance of the flower for the plant. Flower is the reproductive organ of the plant. Flower is what the plant is using in order to reproduce, to make new plants. Today I'm going to discuss with you the structure of a flower, and we're going to complete this lesson next video. The structure of the flower, it starts with a male and a female parts. In the male part, it starts with anther and filament. In the female parts, it starts with stigma, style and ovary. Surrounding the male and female parts, we have a colorful petals. These are responsible for attracting the plants. And we have underneath the sepal, which is used to protect the flower. You know, the flower has lots of important things, and this is going to be our start of the next video. I hope you have enjoyed today's lesson, and see you next time.